For a while, the Sonic franchise has been struggling up and down with recent releases and with putting itself back on public eyes to make it a domain worthy of putting forth energy towards and bringing back what made Sonic what it was back then in today's day and age. The flop of Sonic Forces, Sonic Colors Ultimate, Sonic Origins, did people even like Superstars and or even Dream Team for that matter? Frontiers created a foundation to set the scene up for its sequel even with its mixed reviews that it received, but Sega decides to pause for a minute and spit out a couple Sonic movies into the mix, which became super successful, projecting the series in an upwards direction. But Sega pauses yet again to take a step back to prepare for the third film they are releasing later this year. So what if they took the main focus of that film and dedicated a whole year to one specific character? Shadow the Hedgehog, ladies and gents. You know, oftentimes you'd hear people say they enjoy side characters more than the main character in whatever series they like watching. Most of the time they have a point because they are often portrayed to be very cool, and that leads to a lot of people being simply fans of that niche. So then we see Sega take that certain aspect and deliver something so insane yet so cool that my personal views of the character grew exponentially than before. And that's what I think they were trying to aim for here. So Takashi Iizuka, I see you, big man. I see what you're doing here. For real though, I think we got some of the best pieces of Sonic content that we have ever gotten in a long time. In preparation for a huge release, they not only market like crazy, but they gave us something even beyond it, with that being Shadow Generations. Sonic Generations as a game is hands down one of, if not the best Sonic entry of all time, and there's no argument about it. Easily an S tier level game, and when I heard that a remake was coming out with some additional content, not only do I have an excuse to play Generations yet again, but I get to experience something completely new dedicated to one character. Even if it's a stroll down memory lane, this entire marketing campaign makes me want them to do more of this sort of thing, because if that means we get fire animations and a fire new game alongside it, please sign me up. Give us something for silver in that case, and if they do, would that warrant a Sonic 06 remake? Everybody loves Shadow. The people that don't were never loved properly as a child. Wait, is that too harsh to say as a joke nowadays? Overall, I did say I was going to be making this video talking about the game, but realistically, what is there to talk about? The Sonic 06 content in the game, which nobody has been able to answer the question as to how logically Mephiles is back. I love this villain. The best villain in the series by far. I'm so happy he's back, but how does it make sense is what I was curious about. I like diving into the lore of things and making sense out of stuff that I like, so if you know the answer, please let me know. No, it's not Time Eater. Can't pull things from non-existent timelines. But I'll leave it at that. It's such a great game. Stop watching this video and go play it if you haven't. Not only did it feel like I was watching a cinematic masterpiece, but I feel like it grabbed many aspects across past games and put it all into one. The gameplay plays a bit like Frontiers while keeping the Generations boost formula, extended level durations making it feel like I was playing a daytime stage in Sonic Unleashed. I really feel like they nailed it here. The consistency and the quality of the overall game was kept consistent, which was great to see. Not only that, adding a twist of new Doom powers to further take the level designs a bit deeper to explore different pathways, and using the ability of Chaos Control to slow down things around you / zip through the section of the stage to maintain your speed momentum. Like, I think Kingdom Valley was probably the best stage for me. As soon as I heard the OST, I already knew it was going to be a great time. Sonic games never miss on their OSTs, and this new entry is no different. Like, seriously, how does this series consistently have such a great track record of music? One of the complaints that I see about the game is that there wasn't a Shadow the Hedgehog stage. Like, instead we got a Chaos Island one instead, which didn't really make too much sense to me, unless it hints that Shadow will be in the Frontier sequel. I really have no idea here. Like, for the most part, I was trying to make sense of what the game was trying to tell us in terms of story, but when I saw these things, I really couldn't put all the pieces together. But it is what it is. I'm not really going to think too much into it. What I do think is the most interesting part of the experience, for me at least, was seeing Shadow developing more as a character. Having to face the past yet again and putting an end to it once and for all, while also facing the difficulties of not just seeing who you know as a memory, but to see them and expect them to fade away once more. We really got to see Shadow handle the personal struggles he was going through, knowing that Maria, Dr. Gerald, and everyone else was going to disappear back to their point of time. That tear he shed at the end as he makes his way to where Sonic is at preparing to fight Time Eater really was the cherry on top, that Shadow had to simply move forward and let the past behind him. and prevent any attachment that could potentially cause a chain effect of bad decisions that could distort future events after the completion of generations. It may not have been the longest campaign, despite them literally showing all the bosses in the trailers except for the final one. When you take a step back and observe the character of Shadow and realize just how strong he really is both internally and externally, then holy smokes. This guy is a character and a half. Like, I just realized that Shadow defeats Metal Overlord in base form. In Heroes, Sonic goes super to go and beat him. We see the same thing when Sonic defeats Chaos again in his campaign, but this goes to show how much stronger some of these characters are getting, and it's just another great attention to detail. Speaking of details, in the Sonic campaign, they made very small changes. Different cutscenes that were adjusted from the original, dialogue with modern Sonic when he saves someone, tweaked censored dialogue towards classic Sonic for whatever reason, and the animation in response to the dialogue not matching up at all. It was very unnecessary in my opinion, as it added nothing to the story campaign. Even Amy's character description has changed, and I'm like, why is this her description over the original? I'm not sure why these changes overall were made exactly. They also added a drop down spin dash for modern Sonic, and I'm going to be 100% honest here, I didn't even use it once in any of the levels I played. It didn't seem needed and only added an extra option to your gameplay, but it was another pointless change. I think for the sake of a remaster, they felt they should change a couple of things, but it all felt forced, if that makes sense. Another topic of discourse I saw a lot of was about Rouge. In my opinion, it's not to shame the people behind the scenes working hard to deliver on their work, but Rouge's new voice is simply not it. Especially the ending where she says whatever in a tone that didn't match the scene, it just felt completely off. It is going to take time for me to get used to it. It will eventually grow on me at some point, but I just don't think the representation moving forward with this character is being handled well. They also decided to censor her even more by covering her back and chest. Listen, I don't give two dookies about censorship, but a lot of people did, and some questioned how on earth she's able to fly with her wings clipping through her shirt. I'm asking the same questions too, but ultimately, who cares? This was something that was bound to happen in one way or another. All I ask is that they just don't mess up how the characters vocally, emotionally, etc. represent themselves to who they are, and we're all good. Another one was Sonic having his Frontiers model rather than the Gens model during the cutscene with Shadow. This was sick as frick, by the way, but just a minor detail that was unnecessary in my opinion. For the sake of that type of consistency, I can see why people would throw a fit over it. It just wouldn't look good. I personally like the longer quills for those wondering, but at the end of the day, again, this type of stuff doesn't really matter much at all. I'm super excited for the third movie now because of this game alone, but let me know what you guys thought of not just the game itself, but the campaign of Shadow this year. Is this something that you guys also would like to see happen for other characters later on? Because let me tell you, if they continue doing this sort of thing for popular characters that people like, this series is gonna go nothing but up. I'm telling you this from now. That's all I have for you guys today. Leave a like and subscribe if you are new to not miss out on future uploads, and check out the Discord server where we host monthly tournaments on Pokemon Battle Revolution that are also archived and highlighted on the Archives channel. Get access to quality Pokemon resources for your playthroughs and the Sonic Archives project, while also checking out a ROM hack I made for you guys to play. So if that sounds cool, join up, I'll see you in there. It's been a while since I covered anything Sonic related, and it felt good doing that again. But other than that, take care of yourselves. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.